The cave paintings discovered one after another in Europe, including Altamira's cave paintings found on the Spanish side of the Pyrenees in 1879 and Lascaux's cave paintings found in Montignac village in southwestern France in 1940, are paintings produced in the late Paleolithic period. There, reindeer, horses, cows, deers, bisons, goats, and so on, are painted vividly in black, red, brown, and yellow, and when the light of a flashlight is hit, they look like alive and moving. In the darkness behind these deep caves, prehistoric people lit tallow on stone candlesticks and, under the shimmering light, painted animals on rugged stone walls. They were already excellent artistic activities, but where did these early human artistic activities come from? Paleolithic people's greatest concern was the capture and breeding of wild animals to maintain their lives. To that end, the Paleolithic people painted animals on the cave walls and, by wishing on them, hoped for abundant animal capture and breeding. In other words, the vivid paintings in the caves were magic for the Paleolithic people to work on animals that their lives depended on. The act of painting plump animals behind the deep cave or piercing them with spears was believed to ensure the capture and breeding of them. The viewpoint that the Paleolithic cave paintings originate in hunting and breeding magic is derived from the following facts, namely most of the paintings are of animals for food, plump and pregnant animals and a pair of male and female animals, and furthermore the fact that animals shot with arrows and spears are frequently painted and those paintings of animals are painted in layers behind deep caves, etc. There, the act itself of painting animals and engraving them was a sympathetic magical ritual. Therefore, Paleolithic cave paintings are not mere sketches. Certainly, running wild bulls and deers, bouncing horses, and bisons whipping their tails are painted there as the objects, but they are the images of animals that have been extracted through the act of hunting. They are certainly realistic, but nevertheless a kind of abstraction is there. Even in prehistoric times, painting is no longer a mere copy of things. Then, it was the ritualized magic that played an important role for the establishment of this artistic style. The magical act is gradually ritualized and becomes eventually a festival. In fact, it is said that adult ceremonies were held deep in the caves. The adult ceremony is the ceremony in which a boy becomes a grown-up man, in other words, which removes the child's spirit from the boy and puts into the adult spirit in him. Moreover, because the boy had to grow up an excellent hunter at that time, it was also necessary to breathe the spirit of animals into him. Only after such a process, the boy could become an adult. Animal paintings were painted for that purpose. The deep inside of cave is a sanctuary, a kind of altar. Maybe, magicians in beast fur, dancing the hunting dance, becoming an animal itself, would breathe the spirit of animals into the boys who become adults. It is thought that, in the sacred place deep inside of cave, magicians and participants were united and sacred rituals were held. And from such rituals, the ideas of the ancestors' spirits, holy spirits, and so on were born, and also the totem belief that equates the ancestors with the animal spirits was born. Originally, religion is a belief in what is holy and is a sense of unity with the Great Being. Further, art has also its origin in these religious magic and rituals. Dances and performing arts were born from the reproduction of hunting gestures in magical rituals, and similarly, The primitive music and paintings were also born from there. The excitement of magical rituals is just a kind of transcendence from daily life and a place where art has been born. If we try to investigate the primitive root of dance, drama, music, paintings, sculptures, poetry and so on, which are regarded as artistic acts today, we reach the primitive magic and rituals. On the contrary, today's art remains a kind of magical character. The history of art is as old as the history of mankind. As history progresses from the Paleolithic through the Middle Stone Age to the Neolithic age, artworks become more abstract. Certainly, abstraction has already appeared in the Paleolithic period, like symbols showing prayers for animal breeding, but it developed more from the Middle Stone period to the Neolithic period. For example, the images of animals of Levant rock paintings in the eastern part of the Iberian Peninsula belonging to the Middle Stone period were initially painted relatively realistically, but as time goes on, the details begin to be omitted, and the paintings begin to be like silhouette. Moreover, the number of painted people increases, and their images gradually become stylized and expressive. The people's legs of the Levant paintings are extremely thick and long. That is probably because their attention was directed to not people but the act of hunting. Therefore, their legs were exaggerated and deformed. There, the battles between people and animals are also painted. They are like abstract paintings and show that composition and narrative are evolving there. In addition to hunting, the scenes of dance, battle, gathering, and bleeding are painted in Levant rock paintings, which shows that, as the times progress, paintings are increasing the role of record. The art of the Paleolithic and Neolithic era is not made without any reason. It had a great view of the universe behind it, and it could not have been created without it. People had their awe in the great beings that surpassed their human power and their feeling of return there. Their artworks were created as their expression of those religious feelings. Prehistoric culture in Europe, for example, Neolithic megalithic structures, also had a universal significance. The arrangements of stones and stone holes of Stonehenge made of huge standing stones coincide with the direction of sunrise to sunset and moonrise to moonset on the summer solstice and the winter solstice. About this Stonehenge, it is supposed that what was originally the burial ground for the ancestors would have gradually developed to be like shrine. Around these megaliths, rituals would be held with dances and songs every season. Whether Menhil or Dolmen, megaliths meant the eternity of life and were deeply linked to the religious belief in the rebirth of both the sun and the moon. Every prehistoric artwork had the symbolic meaning and represented the great view of the universe. Moreover, symbols had their special powers and were considered the direct paths to the life of the universe. Concentric circles and continuous spiral patterns found in Neolithic culture of Europe also symbolize the eternal return of life and express the view of the universe in prehistoric era. The plastic art of the Paleolithic and Neolithic era was the microcosm that symbolizes the great universe.